Hey guys, KRX50 here with another review. This time I'll be reviewing the Bakuryu Action Series 5 Ankyloveilus from Bakuryu Sentai Aba Ranger. Ankyloveilus is the Bakuryu evolution of the Ankylosaurus, and was the fifth and final of the lost Bakuryu to be discovered by the Aba Rangers. It includes two things: Ankyloveilus itself, and its corresponding dinoplate. Like last time, we'll look at the dinoplate itself, which you have right here, molded after the top of Ankyloveilus' head, and in the same shade of orange plastic. Has silver paint detail, as well as a little bit of molded in detail. And it has the copyright information on the back, which is right about here. So now I'll bring in my Dino Brace to test it out. Putting on, and placing it on like that, we'll test it out. So as you can see, it makes the same sound that the Tyrannosaurus plate makes, meaning it has a matching peg set. And that would be because Ankyloveilus has blue eyes, and since there is no blue light on the Dino Brace, they decided to use the green light, which is closer to blue than red. And additionally, like the others, it has an additional set of pegs for use with the Dino Commander, which I currently still do not have, but will return to this Dino plate along with the others when I get one. So now switching off my Dino Brace, we'll move on to the Bakuryu itself. So here we have Ankyloveilus, molded in mainly orange plastic, with black plastic for parts of the legs and the lower jaw. See it from the top and the back. Now Ankyloveilus, like I said, is based off the Ankylosaurus. And the Ankylosaurus was defined by two things. One was armor plating that protected its back, and second was a club-like tail that it used to defend itself against predators. Now both of those have undergone some change in its evolution. The armor plating has become this shield-like portion on the top known as the veil blocker, and that correlates to its name, Ankyloveilus, as its name comes from Ankylosaurus and veil, which in a roundabout way is like shield. So it has the veil blocker, which is this shield-like part on the back. And then the tail here is now less club-like and a little bit more arrow-like, and the tail as a whole is known as the tail anchor. Or at least this end part is the tail anchor. Articulation-wise, it can open and close its mouth using this hinge here. And you can move its legs back, well, inward for the sake of the transformation. We also have these silver spikes here, and you can see that there are various amounts of spikes, well, these rows of spikes along the tail. Another thing to note is that as far as the orange goes, there are actually two different shades of orange plastic, which is something I noticed. And you can probably see it on this camera too. There's one shade of orange that's used for this front part of the body that includes the main body, the veil blocker, and the head, and another shade of orange that's used for the tail. Which is interesting. I'm not sure why it did, but it's just something I like to point out. So as far as the orange of the dinoplate goes, it's basically the same orange as the main body and all that, rather than the orange used for the tail. Additionally, the tail itself has a feature where there's this button right here that if you press it down, launches the tail anchor like a spring-loaded missile, which you can then just load in like that. Additionally, the tail can be rotated by rotating the veil blocker. just like so. And that's the basics of what Ankyloveilus does on its own. So to combine it, we'll just move the legs inward, first by moving in the front legs, then folding in the back legs so that they contour like this. So it's ready now. Now I'll bring in my Aburano substitute, move the camera up, then we just take off Triceratops and put Ankyloveilus in its place, just like so. So just repositioning this, now we have Ankyloveilus. So we see the arm right here, and as you can tell, you would see that basically it now has two tail drills, one from Tyrannosaurus and the other from Ankyloveilus. Aburano can use this to attack, as well as block attacks using the veil blocker. Raising up both arms and switching it to the A mode, we can simulate its finisher, Double Tornado. As you can see, it has both drills spinning, as well as the veil blocker. Additionally, the two drills spin in opposite directions. And it's just one continuous motion, like so. And the arms can be raised and lowered while it's being activated. And as Double Tornado would suggest, this finisher attack does use both drills. Something like that. And then removing this. Moving aside Aburano, and reverting this to normal. And just set it back down like so. And move back the camera. So Ankyloveilus was released in America, but Dinoplate wasn't. It was released in America as the Ankylozord. It was packaged alongside the Parasaurolosaurs, which is the American equivalent to Parasaurolokiru. And like Parasaurolokiru, it had a saddle that could be attached to it, and had the copyright information branded on its underside. Though there was a little bit of a change made. The first change that was noticed by playing it was that they took out the spring for the tail anchor. So if you wanted to remove it, you had to hold in the button and just manually remove this. Additionally, something also noticed is that the rotation on Ankyloveilus is something that stops at certain intervals, whereas on the Ankylozord, it's just a continuous free rotating thing, which either means that the gears or something on the inside of my Ankylozord has deteriorated over time, or they modified the insides so that it doesn't stop at those click intervals. But aside from that, there weren't really changes, as it had basically all the same paint and details. The Dinoplate itself was not released in its original form. There was a version of it that was released with the Triassic shield, but that was a bronzed version, and just a flat bronze, unlike the chrome bronze of the Steve Reiser. So, basically, buying this is the only way to get this specific Dinoplate, as Dinoplates were not sold in mass release forms. Dino plates were specifically sold with their associated toys. But this is once again a fun addition to the Bakuryu action series. It's interesting to add a second drill feature, as well as having a second moving part on a Bakuryu. And it's a very interesting and very nice way to finish off the primary Bakuryu action series, as if I haven't mentioned it before, I'll mention it now. Either Bandai of Japan or just Bandai Asia, for some reason I found that the Bakuryu action series actually continued past Ankyloveilus into individual releases of several of the Bakuryu. Basically, every Bakuryu except Styracosaurus got an individual release past Ankyloveilus, which to me doesn't make all that much sense, because it's just better to buy them in their, well, group package forms for the sake of mechas. But as far as the main Bakuryu action series goes, as in the ones that actually come with these demo plates and have action features, Ankyloveilus is the final one. So, definitely fun, definitely recommended to Aba Ranger and Dino Thunder fans, and definitely a good toy and a nice kind of wrapping up and addition to the Bakuryu action series. So, thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and check out my channel for more videos. And for now, this is KRX50, writing off.